Alright guys, welcome back. So we're back for another team chat. This time around we're looking at the accessories that you use while you're playing. We're starting off today with what every duelist should have, through the basics. We're looking to cover accessories that are sleeves, deck boxes, and we're looking at I gotta get it right, the playmats. So each one of us will go through, we'll say what ones we actually use. From what I can see, my video is lagging. Am I alright, guys?
It seems okay.
Seems okay?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So, as I said, we're going to cover each of the accessories, then each one that's in chat is going to go over what they use, why they use it. Is it an entry level? Is it kind of high niche side of things? That sort of thing. Okay, so sleeves. A must-have for anyone that's playing. You want to protect the cards that you have because they are an investment to a degree. It's your deck. You want to look after it. They're your pride and joy of cards. You're going to look after them, and to do that, you use sleeves. Completely white in my case. But what we're going to ask is, Dan, sleeves for you.
Hello.
What?
Sorry, yeah, sorry, my bad.
So, what do you use sleeves wise?
Right now I am using KMC sleeve. So I've got some white ones here, and I do have some red, brown sort of colored ones, maroon sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was also using some dragon shields, which I do have as I've got some green and a purple one here too.
Mm-hmm.
They are very similar sleeves in that they just have like a clear front to them, so there's no like markings like with Ultra Pro ones. You have the little Ultra Pro symbol in the bottom left corner. But I do find that KMC are a little bit better because they're not as tight for when you put the cards in.
Okay.
So you don't feel like you're going to bend the cards halfway through trying to put it in the sleeve, which unfortunately with Dragon Shields they are a little bit too tight for my liking.
Okay.
Um, in sort of like shuffling sense, the Dragon Shields straight out of the packet, they are a little bit better because they do have they don't slide around much.
Okay.
They're quite they do feel played with slightly just straight out of the packet. With KMCs, they do sort of slide around a little bit more than the Dragon Shields, but personal preference, I am leaning towards the KMCs more.
Okay. So with the KMCs,
Mm-hmm.
are they an entry level sleeve? Are they something a bit more on the expensive side? Um,
They are a little bit more expensive than your average sleeve.
okay.
I've been able to buy them for £5 a packet.
Yeah.
From some local vendors and some vendors at competitions. Like I got the red ones at UK Nats.
Okay.
The Dragon Shields, they depending on the size of box that you get, because you can either get like a box of 60 or you can get a box of 100.
Okay.
The boxes of 60, our locals has been selling them for a fiver each, but I do believe some stores sell them for about £6 or £7 each.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So fairly reasonably priced.
Yeah, there are cheaper sleeves out there. Like from what I've seen, the Ultra Pros are the cheapest ones, but they do not last as long. They're good. They just don't last as long.
Okay. So when you say long, are you thinking along the lines
Oh,
of?
okay. I'd say Ultra Pros they last maybe 2 to 3 weeks at the most.
Okay.
Um, like of being like tournament standard, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Like all of these sleeves, you can keep them on for like a good couple of months,
Yeah.
but after a little while, you will start to notice like patches of mold starting to grow on the sleeves. And that's just down to because of how, yeah, it is disgusting, but it's just because of like when you're playing, your hands get sweaty if you've been playing all day. So
Yeah.
it's just like unless you like lay out each individual card, allow them to air out, and then put them away, then
Mm-hmm.
you can keep the sleeves for a lot longer. But that's just nobody has that kind of time.
Yeah. Fair enough. So you're on about like the grey spots and that sort of thing that appear
Yeah.
on sleeves after they've been used for a while.
Yes.
Um, so being that they last a while, you're able to use them for quite a bit. Are you sort of person that uses different new sleeves every big tourney, or
Well, it is tournament standard to have new sleeves on your deck,
correct?
say
Yeah.
at a regional level and above.
Mm-hmm.
For locals, they're happy to use sleeves that I've had on for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
If I mean, I will change them if you are then able to like if you can get rule chuck for it. So if like some of the corners start bending up and say a couple of them rip or something,
Yeah.
then I'm more than happy to just buy some more and change them over.
Okay. Okay. So big on your KMC. They're
Hmm.
hypermats, aren't they? Is that the correct
Yes,
term?
Hypermat. Yeah, that is the brand. I
Yeah.
couldn't think of it off the top of my head. I just
No.
know that everybody knows them as KMCs, so
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
people should know what I'm on about.
And you're an advocate for dragon shields,
Yes.
kind of more for long-term protection. I'm just kind of going over what you've said so far.
Hmm.
So a little bit longer in terms of protection. Really nice shuffle, I think you said in there as well.
Yeah, it will take, say, a couple of doors for the KMCs to be good for shuffling, but the Dragon Shields are good straight out of the box. That
Okay.
they feel that they don't slide around everywhere. Like I find with KMCs and like Ultra Pros, you try to shuffle and you just throw your deck across the table. Just 52 card pickup.
Yeah. Yeah. No. 40 card, 60 card.
But yeah, it was just a reference, Mark. It was just a reference. 52 is
Oh dear. Right. So, Martin, I'm going to ask you about sleeves you prefer to use now.
Um, I don't know. I chop and change a
Okay.
lot, and I'll always try something new.
Mhm.
So, I'm a big advocate for player's choice
Okay.
sleeves. I've used Ultra Pro for a very long time. Even to the point where, if you can remember back in the day, they did the weird effect things on the back, like sort of rainbowy glitter
Okay.
design.
Yeah. Kind of make them look like dual terminal type thing.
No, not even that. Like, I was trying to find a picture just now, but it's I can't find it where I want it. Just to screen share and show you, but it just
Mhm.
had it was the back of the sleeve, so like this bit. This is all
Okay.
like rainbowy, glittery, and weird. I've gone from those. I've gone from magic sleeves just because they had a picture on the back. Ultra Pros, KMCs, like name it. I've probably used it, but I just prefer the white player's choice,
Okay.
which they were really easy accessible at one point, but then player's choice sort of stopped making them, went bust or whatever.
Mhm.
Now they come back through a Kickstarter, so I can pick them up again.
And Player's
Um,
Choice were always like a high-end style of sleeves, weren't they, for a little
yeah,
while?
I mean the American player base seemed to like really be behind them, the player's choice sleeves. The Europeans were slowly getting into them as well.
Okay.
I don't know how much they've changed in terms of from what they were pre sort of stop production to coming back up.
Yeah.
But I picked them up over time. They still seem the same to me. They shuffle really well on most mats. They are glossy on the front and the back. They're very slippery, so you do have to be a bit careful.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, but because they're generally relatively more expensive now. They're like £6 a pack.
Yeah.
I try and stockpile them, or I'll just keep some aside for events because I'm someone that will change their sleeves every week just for locals.
Yeah.
Um, which is why I tend to use Ultra Pros for that if I can. Or Stan said, the KMCs are on my deck at the moment.
Mhm.
Purely because I want to keep a pack of Player's Choice for when we go to Euros. Um, I think like the other thing that we use is I mean I use all the time on my extra deck is like these sort of things, the OCG sleeves. Excuse me,
Okay.
they're terrible for a main deck because they stick like mad.
Mhm.
But I've always enjoyed having something different on my extra deck. For as long as I can remember. And
they start to peel up as well with the shuffling.
yeah, I mean, I got a load of packs anyway, so I'm not too worried at the moment. But Yeah, I mean you can't double sleeve them to protect them, so you just got to be a bit careful. But
Yeah.
yeah, PCs from a main deck and side deck, and then OCG sleeves for the
Mm.
extra deck.
Um,
Just they look good.
yeah. So you said that you sleeve and you each tournament.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
terrible for it.
No, no,
Um,
that's fair. Everyone has their own little rituals and that sort of thing, and that's what some people need, you know.
but I mean, I've gone from using like the most expensive sleeves you can buy to like the cheapest of the cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like the cheaper ones do tend to split more at the bottom
Yeah.
and stuff like that. The more expensive ones don't split. And PCs probably they get dirtier easily, I find, but that still doesn't stop me using them.
Okay.
In terms of durability, it's probably like KMC. They're up there at the moment though.
Right. Got you. Okay. And so you like your OCG style sleeves with the nice little pretty pictures for your extra deck. I understand you've got quite a selection that you go through.
Yeah, I've got like plenty. Luckily, I know somebody that gets them for like a good price.
Mm.
Unlike, you see them people like, for example, in the trade group, and they're selling them for like 12 quid, and I'm just like, just ask my guy like, yo, how much can you get these for? And it's like half the price, and I'm just like saying, just get me like a few.
Give me like a few, port them over, and the money will be in your
Yeah,
account, sort of thing. Fair
yeah,
enough. Fair. Okay. So I think that's it for your guys' sleeves. So sleeves for me, I've always chopped and changed a little bit. I'm a big advocate for Dragon Shields as a whole. Very durable, last you ages. I mean, I've had one deck that's sleeved in Dragon Shields for best part of 9 months, and it's still going strong. There's no markings, nothing like that. But I was going to showcase to you guys like some of the sleeves that I've picked up over time through different means, and usually being like, because I cheap out on sleeves majority of the time. It's only recently I've been actually buying the actual decent ones. So the cheap ones that I've discovered recently are from Blackfire. I don't know if you guys have heard of Blackfire.
no,
No.
no.
I think it's from a distribution company or something like that. It's in Germany, and they do okay, nice sleeves. They are cheap. In fact, I've got one here. Very, just that's a red one just there. All right. They last you maybe 2 tournaments most, but they don't. I don't rate them fully, but they're nice and cheap. And if you're going fresh into an event and literally just need a new bag of sleeves to see through, then they're all right. But these are usually what I use in my trade binders, that sort of thing, to keep the cards nice. Dragon Shields I mentioned, but you don't have to go whole hog into like any sleeve is good protection, but sometimes you do need to use ones that are appropriate for the game. So the thing with sleeves for Yu-Gi-Oh is that they use a small size generic sleeve, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
So some people might be tempted to go out there and buy sleeves that they see and just don't understand that they are slightly bigger or slightly more different than what you normally have. I've got some examples here. One is a Final Fantasy sleeve. Now, if you take that as an example and then a Yu-Gi-Oh sleeve, I can literally it doesn't look a lot bigger.
It should fit inside.
It should fit
from
inside.
what I've seen.
So you can get those sleeves. Yes, you can shuffle with them, but they're purely decorative. They're mainly for games like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, that sort of thing. But it's just for people
Bushy
to bear in mind.
Roads that produce Cardfight Vanguard and Buddy Fight, they do produce some quite nicely.
And are they for this size, are they?
They are for small size actually.
Oh, really?
Like
Okay.
these ones, like this one for example.
Well, that's pretty cool.
That's the artwork there. Basically, just the cards, like the card art from the cards.
Yeah.
A lot of the sleeves, but I do quite like the artwork of Vanguard quite a lot. So I do quite like having some of the sleeves from there.
Okay, and does that suffer from the usual?
Yeah, like they will peel if you do shuffle with. I do have some oversleeves for my Vanguard decks that I have. But you can only really use them in like local tournaments, like with character sleeves and then oversleeves on top.
Okay, I see. Got you. Fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, you can get a whole selection. I guess the lesson is go with what you're comfortable with. If you want something that lasts, then obviously spend a little bit extra money than what you would do normally.
Yeah.
And quality is always going to show its best. You know what I mean? You're not going to
Mm-hmm.
have cards rifle and that sort of thing. So the next little bit that we're going to move on to, once my video comes back a little bit better.
I was wondering if you had noticed that.
I've been noticing it, and it's been dropping in and out slightly, but just gonna have to commit with it, I guess. As long as the audio is coming through, and I can see the bars spiking, so we're just gonna carry on.
Okay.
So deck boxes is what I'd like to go to next.
Okay.
Now, so
No, you sorry.
there's lots and different types of deck boxes. Some people swear by certain ones, some swear by others. I'm of the distinct impression that as long as you're protecting your cards and looking after them, they're fine as long as it's not elastic band.
I mean, how else are you going to keep the deck together?
I mean, we're not exactly in playground rules. Oh dear, we know someone's using a lackey band. Anyway, Dan, deck boxes for you. Is there any that stand out as your like go-to?
Just sort of like at the moment, I am quite partial to like deck boxes, just because they're like a good size. They protect your cards really well. Magnet, which keeps the front on the front closed. You can see like the corners on them are starting to wear on like all of the corners.
Okay.
Which is just from just me transporting the deck to and from events and stuff. That is like perfectly fine and understandable where that's coming through.
Yeah.
I do also have like if I can find it, just like a standard Ultra Pro. Well, I say standard. It's a double deck box. That's this one. It's got a nice Velcro to keep it all together. But then I do again. You can get some that are anime sort of character boxes as well. I'm not going to keep that on show for too long.
Okay.
I'm quite. Like you said, like as long as it does the job, keeps your deck together and in one place, that's absolutely fine. It does the job. As long as it isn't an elastic band.
Yeah. Okay. Is there? So you showed off your regional win deck box there as well. That was very subtle.
That wasn't mine actually. That was I did purchase. That had helped me with a lot of the deck.
Okay, fair. Okay, well, I think that's pretty much most of it kind of gone through for yourself, unless there's anything you wanted to add.
No, I'm quite happy with what I've shown you.
Okay, Martin, anything deck box wise you want to share, or anything that you go for particularly?
Well, I've gone from spending like a couple of quid on a deck box to the most I ever spent was £75.
Okay, so the question is, if you spent £2.50, what was that deck box?
That was just like, I don't have one here. There was just like an Ultra Pro deck box, like standing at £2.50 thing.
Okay.
Even back in the day, when Ultra Pro used to do like the deck box tins.
Yeah.
Have some of those. I mean, they were terrible. They always got dented and scratched to smithereens. But most of the time, yeah, it was an Ultra Pro deck box. It wasn't until I got like later in playing Yu-Gi-Oh that a better deck box sort of mattered for playing a bit more. Like Dan, I've got a regional deck box that I bought, and I use that all the time now. But I do have like one of the old Dark Magician Girl double deck boxes, which that was the expensive one. I've got Yu-Gi-Oh double deck boxes. I've got like anime double deck boxes. I've tried them all, and some of the time I just find they're too bulky.
Yeah.
I find that the regional one is good enough to fit like everything in. So main deck, side deck, extra deck, tokens, build
Okay.
center, and divider. It's good size. They're pretty durable. I'm not worried about anything cracking, which I was kind of worried about on some of the plastic ones I was using.
Yeah.
The design's not going to like rub off. Like I've noticed that some of my anime ones, the designs are rubbing off where you're using it too much.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm all for having a nice deck box that's a good size, but too big, and you're like, I mean, everyone's been to tournaments where the tables are squashed together, and you've then got to put your deck box on the table.
Yeah.
Mm.
Literally, you're trying. I've seen people literally put table numbers up on top of deck boxes next to each other, and that sort of thing.
So that's it really. I mean, like I said, you can spend all the money in the world, but I think like one of the things that regional tournaments has, well, Yu-Gi-Oh has got down for regional tournaments is the deck boxes.
Okay.
I know a lot of people will sell them, but I'm quite happy to keep them.
Yeah. So you kind of highlighted that you can spend as much or as little as you want depending on what you want to go for. Everyone aims to get that regional deck box. Everyone wants to get that themselves, but you can also get the £2.50, protects your cards. Might not be kind of water sealed or anything like that, but they are around. There's also a fair selection. You can go out there and get anything you're after. The prime example being your Dark Magician Girl deck box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've looked at Ultimate Guard before, and I find that the bigger ones of those are too bulky.
Yeah. I mean, I've purchased quite a few of different deck boxes along the way. And some of them are okay, some of them are great, some of them are just gimmicky, I guess.
Well, you've picked up quite a few of your bolder ones to fit in your cube.
Yes.
They're quite a nice. They're a nice size if you were having that as your deck box. They do look quite a good size for
they are.
main extra size.
They are literally just compact enough to hold the cards. They're not anything big, fancy, or anything like that.
Are they like specified for like a maximum of 60 cards? Because I know some companies do specify.
Yeah, so there's actually two variants that I found out in the getting these deck boxes together. There's an 80 and 100 card variant. The 100 card variant is usually for Magic players and that sort of thing.
Yeah, because they can have huge decks.
You know, they have tons potentially, absolutely loads and loads and loads. So I went with the 80s, and they're compact, they're nice, they're nice, like kind of opaque plastic, which is really quite good. But yeah, like I mean, I've had all kinds of deck boxes just literally through the years because I've played variety of games through time. I've got things like, as I mentioned, there's the boulders that are downstairs. I've got my old World of Warcraft deck box.
Oh, wow.
With Medivh on it, so that's something. But that's a story for another time. But that's just a cheap plastic folded together and just happens to hold cards quite nicely.
That's very similar to what I was showing off my anime one. They folded up together, stuck together, and then they stay in a box shape.
Yeah, they just work. I have had other things like I used to play Pokemon, so I had a deck box like this one.
Your video's not coming through on my side.
Okay, so it's a tin. One section's for cards, one section's for like dice and counters and that sort of thing.
Okay.
Which is pretty sweet. I got that from
sort of like the Ultimate Guard ones that have the little draw dice.
It's more the top of the tin comes off, and that's where all the tokens are. So it's like literally, it's like imagine a small tin of chocolates. But
right.
When you take the cap off, it's like it's a little tin in itself.
Okay, that's pretty cool, actually.
But my go-to at the minute, and I really do like these. These are the quality's just lush and everything just holds, and it's really nice. Is the Dragon Shields deck boxes.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen those.
I can't say that I've actually seen any.
So they aren't a kind of hold together one big box. They come apart into two pieces.
Okay.
and they're magnetized, so you can actually sit them inside of each other.
Oh, okay.
So you end up with like a little library of things, and you can keep. And they're usually used for Magic players.
Okay.
But they are suitable enough for Yu-Gi-Oh. And they've got nice little felt inlays, and they don't take up much room either. But that's just
Oh, yes, I know which one you're on about now.
yeah.
I just googled it and had a look. Recently.
I think they're called nests. Or something
Yes,
like that.
Dragon Shield Nest.
Yeah. But no, these I can swear by. I mean, I could chuck this up in the air and the magnet wouldn't release or anything like that. It would still stay in the box. I'm not
a challenge I need to accept.
Not
See
with,
if I can break apart your deck box.
not with what's in here currently. We need.
Oh no! I do it. I do it with nothing inside. Don't want to damage it.
Maybe next time we'll see what we can do. So yeah, that's kind of my go-to really. That's just from years of kind of going through different deck boxes, styles, and what I found and what I like the look of. So yeah, but again, you can pay as much as you want. Protection is protection, I guess, at the end of the day. But you know,
you always got to have that good protection.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you don't want something to go wrong and ruin your life by loss of cards, I guess. So, I got the shake head. I know, it was awful. It was terrible. I shouldn't have gone there. So, next up, and the last of what we were going to cover was mats.
Yes.
Now, this is something that I feel that can be varied across the board because there isn't just generic mats out there. Well, there is, it being that there's just colours and a surface to play on. But this is down to whoever's playing, I feel.
Yeah, and it all comes down because obviously you can get the two different types of mats as such, whether it's just a rubber back and a cloth.
Mm-hmm.
I personally haven't ever played on a cloth. I am very much enjoying all the different rubber mats that I have.
Yeah.
I just find that you can get some out there that are thicker, that are more like mouse pad sort of thing.
Okay.
But I prefer the ones that you can get from I'll just show off this, my Odd Eyes one that you can get from tournaments. I believe this one was from a winner mat, I think.
Okay.
That it's like a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Mats, they are quite good, like the sneak peek ones for new sets.
Yeah.
I do find the only problem with them after a little while that the edges do start to fray a bit. I think some of the older mats that they're not too bad, and that's probably just down to like a change in manufacturer they've decided to go for.
Okay.
I know obviously you can get like for other card games as well. I've seen some like Final Fantasy mats. I've seen some Force of Will mats. A lot of the artwork is quite nice, but it all seems to be made out of the same sort of material.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can kind of get a mat that fits to your style, your preference, your favorite anime. I mean, God knows we've seen the absolutely disgusting ones that are out there.
Oh God, the amount of cringe you see when you see I hate to say it, but a pervy mat.
Yeah,
it's just like why would you bring that to a public event?
Yeah,
like I'm all for people enjoying themselves, but not when it's
not something that's clearly like that shouldn't be discussed.
Like especially when you can get events like you get events that there are younger children there, there are younger children present. It's not good publicity.
No, exactly. I believe there is tournament policy against the use of that sort of sleeves and mats as well. But I guess it's down to whatever kind of creativeness that you can get. But I would be mortified to turn up to a public event with something as lewd as that. As some of the examples I've seen, and I have straight up called a judge on one person because it was like
Oh wow.
It was pornographic. There was no clothing.
Oh, okay.
It was like, dude, are you
That's not
serious?
needed.
Yeah. So it's just like, no, mate, come on, behave yourself. But so you showed us the odd ice mat, which was a winner mat. So is that one that so they change with the master rules as it goes, doesn't it? So you got the different zones, or is that just an
Yes, you
image?
do. No, that one's just an image one. You do get the ones like all of the sneak peek ones. They the zones for the well for like the field spell zones and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I prefer. Well, at the moment, I've not been playing a deck that has an extra deck, so I don't need to worry about the extra monster zones.
Okay.
So I prefer just because I know where all the zones are. I do have the field center in my deck
Yeah.
box to obviously show where they need the extra monster zones need to go. But I do prefer just having the image there, just because it's just something nice to play on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. So Martin, being that you're a connoisseur of sleeves, are you a connoisseur of mats as well?
I mean, I don't own loads, and I generally just use one.
Okay.
So at the moment I use it because it's words and it's custom. It's got zones.
Okay.
You know,
I
it's easy to use.
snap.
You,
Um, but for a long time I was using this, and it was just purely because it's really cool. It's really old. Love it.
Oh wow. Okay.
showing your age there, Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't around when these were being given out or anything.
But
I didn't win this.
that's from
Fortu-
2002 just there.
Yeah, fortunately found one, bought it, used it for aid. It's now just starting getting a bit frail and stuff. It's really, really old, so I don't use it as much as
Mm-hmm.
I used to. And then prior to the custom one we had made, I was just using the one we got for entry at YCS London, just because it had the zones on it and it was just easy.
Okay.
And it was a plain map. I'm not really one for like all this artwork on maps. I like them pretty plain, pretty simple. Zones, a logo, like that's fine for me.
Yeah.
Um, the only time you'll see me with another map, I got one, and I've just picked up whatever's around the
Okay.
house. I've got some of the Comic Con mats. They're still sealed. I've got Euros from last year. I've got YCS 200. They're all just sat in their protective sleeving,
Mm-hmm.
and the Order of a Traveler, which I did last year. That
Okay.
was a nice map, but again, I don't really want. But yeah, in terms of like what I've used, pretty basic. Always had a zone on it. I'm a bit incompetent, but easy stuff's the best way to go.
Yeah. So, just so that the audience are aware and that sort of thing, you can use any mat. It doesn't really matter, but you can put yourself at a disadvantage in terms of where the zones are. I guess is that what you're trying to say?
No, I think it's just more for me. Zone is in, and it's like it's clear as day. Like my extra monster zone is filled with this, and it's pointing to this or here. Or, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's also it's also clear for me. I can't like a prime example. Barlow, the so when you steal a monster, here's to the zone, and it points to.
Yeah. So you know
I
exactly that
can't,
you got one free to
so
go
I
to.
know like if I've been stupid and put a monster in the wrong zone, and I just go, oh man, I can't do that.
Yeah.
There's no like, well, where is that monster actually placed? And like, I suppose without zones, you can almost be tempted to be like, just slightly move it, and it's underneath bar load as opposed to the bottom left arrow. So
So.
I think zones, not just myself but my opponent.
Mm, yeah. So you have got to be careful if using one without zones. I guess is the lesson from that.
Yeah, because I mean, it's it's never always going to be clear where stuff is when you
Mm-hmm.
don't have zones.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Fully
Um,
agreed.
and then you don't get an argument with your opponent. You say, here. It's like, well, no, it was there. Can't bother.
Yeah,
I'd rather just it be clear for everybody, and then it's also clear for like if a judge comes over, etc.
It's one less thing to worry about.
yeah. It just keeps everything simple for the game state as well, doesn't it?
Mm.
Okay. So
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No. I was just moving something off my lap, and it was about to slip off.
I was just saying, I've only ever used rubber, never used cloth, but cloth is something that I want to look into.
I mean, the cloth mats do look nice. I mean, out there is the is it Spellgrounds? Is that what it's called?
Yes,
Yeah.
Spellgrounds.
They're usually kind of like, is the word embossed, or they've got like some sort of design that's painted on / in the cloth itself. They are fancy, but they come with, embroidered might be the right word. Yeah. But they come with a price tag as well, if I think correctly. I think they're like £60 plus.
Yeah, they are quite expensive. I think it's because there's a lot more work put into them, and it takes a print to get it printed on a cloth than it does a rubber-backed mat.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
What about you, Mark?
So I'm going to show off 3 mats that I've got. One is a kind of going with that people's personality, what games they like, anime, that sort of thing. And I promise it's safe for work, so you're absolutely fine for this.
I'm not getting any video of you on my end. Can you see him, Mark?
Martin just crashed for me. No, he's back. So this one here is a Final Fantasy. I'm gonna describe it for you.
Oh,
You can get the magic of it that way. So this is a Final Fantasy VII Advent Children map.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's...
Damn, you old.
Yeah, I am. I am crazy old. I played this originally on the PS1. No, sorry, not the PS1, on the PSX, because it wasn't the PS1 at that point. But there we go.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. There you go.
Just a
Wow.
PlayStation. Don't worry.
It was a PlayStation 1, but it was the base model of it. So it's got Cloud, it's got Sapphire Earth, it's not got any... I think it's meant to be for the Final Fantasy TCG, but it's just an example of something that you can get out there. Just, as we said, bear in mind, there's no zones on it, so you could end up with yourself in a little bit of trouble. Like I pointed out to Martin, I have got the Hobby Vault one as well. Again, zones, nice, clear, beautiful. You can get custom mats, but be prepared to pay the price for them however way you feel. You know, it's not... You got to remember, you're paying someone for their work, their time, and the ability to create these things. My high end in terms of buying, now I haven't bought anything like a Spellgrounds or anything like that because I'm not spending 60 quid on a mat if I can help it. But I do occasionally get imported mats from Japan. So I have managed to pick up a Elemental Hero Neos 20th Anniversary Edition mat.
Oh yeah, so is it the artwork that they had in the door power?
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It comes with zones on it. They're not marked in any way, so they don't say graveyard or anything like that. But it's just a very, very nice mat.
Okay.
Again, that's something that is available, but again, I had to pay. I think it's about £30 to get it imported because it hit customs as well. Yay. So yeah, that's kind of what I've got. You can be as expressive as you want, but you have to bear in mind that you're up against the tournament policy and zones and that sort of thing as well. But you can use any surface. I mean, you do have to be careful. We have seen all kinds of manner of things, like going from paper that come from the structure decks. There's cardboard boards that come from like legendary Kaiba, that sort of thing. But a lot of the time they are official. They will stop your cards from resting on a surface which has potentially been dirtied by drink, food, that sort of thing as well. So, all in all, I think we have covered everything. We've covered the sleeves, we've covered the deck boxes, and we've covered the mats.
The mats.
Yeah. So, is there anything else that you think that beginners or someone that's coming into a card game would need?
Dice is something
Dice.
that is worth picking up. Like, you can get dice super cheap. Go to and get them for like 50p or something. Just a 6-sided.
Sure. So dice, anything that could come up as chance. There is potential of flip a coin in Yu-Gi-Oh as well.
Yes.
So you have to be careful of potential of that. So
Possibly like a notepad as well to write down like life point scoring. I know there are apps on your phone you can use, but like you can't use your phone in the tournament.
yeah, that's a good habit to get into straight away. Is actually writing down your life points.
Yes.
If you ask any judge, policy says go with the person that has it on paper. So you can't argue with rules at that point, can you?
Mm. No, I mean if it's a written rule, then you need to follow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly so. Anything else? Martin, have you got anything else to add in that beginners might want to pick up?
Don't use elastic bands. Ruins your cards.
Yeah, they...
Gives them a good old crease in the middle, ruins them, nobody wants to trade with you.
Yeah. There's always that one person that's got that box that's basically a tin that's got lucky bands around each one of their supposed decks. They're not sleeved.
Hey, we've all been there, all right?
I
like,
mean, this...
Never.
I mean,
Never,
there's...
ever not had a deck box. Never ever not had like
something to look after stuff. Oh, jeez. I mean, with the places that we play, if you're playing at locals or playing at the regionals, top tier events, anything like that, yeah, if you turn up with literally an elastic band around your cards, no sleeves, if you think that it's going to be like playground Yu-Gi-Oh, then you're going to have a
no, but
bit
then
of
if
a
you
shot.
go to like a regional or a nationals or something like that, there will be there that
Yeah.
can sell you what you need, and that
Yeah.
you can get them for fairly cheap as well.
Yeah.
Like obviously, apart from a mat, you'll be able to get a deck box and a pack of sleeves for a $5, possibly at the cheapest.
Yeah, if as we were saying, like this cheap end of the spectrum, high end of the spectrum, it doesn't matter. It just depends on where you want to go.
There is something for everyone.
Yeah.
I feel.
Definitely. Well, I think we've run the counter
think
through.
if you're a budget player, just get the cheapest that you can.
Yeah.
Protect your stuff. And if you're high end, then pay for the good stuff.
Yeah.
It'll last, and it works.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And anything that you buy in excess, you can always keep and use for other things as well. Prime example, sleeves. Old sleeves can be used in trade binders, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And I mean, when it comes to getting custom stuff done, you never know. You might have a friend who is a graphic designer. They might be able to design you a mat, and then you can just, if you just Google custom mats near me, I'm sure you might be able to find a small little garage run business, possibly. I don't know.
Yeah, you'll be surprised where you can get these things done.
Operation.
I know there's some big operations in terms of in the UK. There was like Inked Gaming or something like that. But try your local businesses, see if they have links. Your local store might even have a link or two that they might be able to use.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Right. I think that is about it. Anyone think of anything else? If not, we'll end just about there.
I'm happy if you're happy, dude.
Martin, anything?
Nothing else to add at my end.
Okay, fair. Well, in that case, this was Team Hobby Vault. Video number 2. signing out.
See you, kids.